Welcome to a priority edition of the BumbleKast. I'm your host, Ian Flynn, the Bumble King, and joining me as always is my Bumble co-host, Kyle, JCRB Krause.
Oh man, this episode takes priority over everything. You better drop all that you're doing right now and listen to this episode of the BumbleKast because it is top priority, my friends. Top priority.
It features questions from all our patrons over at patreon.com/BumbleKast, Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, and our YouTube members. Thank you all so much for your patronage and supporting the show.
Indeed. Well, we don't have a whole heck of a lot to talk about or announce, so we are just going to jump right on into it. Starting off with a question from Pizza Person. Why do you think Silver and Blaze are always in perfect sync and mirroring each other's actions? They have similar dialogue, like protecting Smiles from both their 2021 Sonic Channel stories, and they sometimes get matching art. This connection isn't explained much in the games.
Yeah, there's supposed to be some kind of link between them, but the actual backstory of Blaze and how she fits in with any of it is not well defined.
Are you saying something in Sonic wouldn't be well defined? Are you what? No.
I mean, maybe she came to Silver's time and dimension and stuck around for a bit, and they became a dynamic duo, and then because of the time shenanigans, they forgot most of that, but they're still intrinsically linked. I don't know. It would be great to get a solid canon answer for that, but I don't know what it is.
What a shame. Next question is from Amagali. Now that you write and are part of the dev team, can you use your interpretations of the Sonic lore freely, or do you have to tell the higher-ups and wait for approval and or don't have the power of decisions on these kinds of things?
No. I am still freelance.
Yeah.
My power exists within the terms of my contract.
Yeah.
And within the terms of what the bosses want me to do.
Yeah, you were not technically part of Sonic Team officially.
No. They're very fine folks to work with, but I do not have executive decision powers. I guess my word or my thoughts carry a little more weight in that context than they would have done, say, back in the Archie Sonic days, but I am a voice in the room. I am not the boss.
No. Unfortunately. Or maybe fortunately. I don't know. Depends on who you ask, I guess. Let's get into this question here from Danny the Light. Who called Mammoth Mogul Mogi in the comics?
Is this a trivia question? Because I don't know.
I'm not 100% sure. Like, are they asking if someone were to call Mammoth Mogul Mogi, who would it be? I'm not sure.
I feel like that might have been something that like Sonic trotted out at some point.
It sounds like him, yeah.
But it's been so long I can't recall. If you know of an instance where Mogul got called Moggy, then please comment below and let us know.
Good old Mogi or Moggy, whatever you want to call him.
It should be Mogi since it's a truncation of Mogul.
Yeah. At least it's not Trunky Mick Longnose or whatever. Trunky Mick Big Ears.
Trunky Mick Hairy Nose.
Yeah, there we go. Something like that. And we got a question here from Mobius. Yes, the entire planet. In the last Q&A, you were asked about on how the Sonic characters would write a comic. And now I'm asking, how would the Freedom Fighters, plus Julie Sue, write their own comic?
I feel like Sally would kind of get lost along the way, plotting things out too long, never actually sitting down and writing it out. And Nicole would prompt her, of course, but she would be using Nicole to cross-reference and look things up, and she would just fall down the Wikipedia hole, trying to make sure that she's got all her details figured out correctly.
Well, I'm glad Nicole at least recorded all this stuff.
Rotor, I feel like he would be very technical about things, but he wouldn't necessarily be the best in terms of characterization or like dialogue. Like it's a perfectly fine script mechanically speaking, but it doesn't quite grip you. Antoine writes the best one. Like, he's got tons of experience living in his own little fantasy world back in the day when he was, a hero in his own head. Maybe it's not the most, maybe a lot of things are spelled phonetically, but by goodness, there's a fun story in there. And you know what? Bunny can proofread.
Yeah.
I imagine Bunny would do something more very slice of life, and it kind of meanders. There's not much of a point to any of her books, but darn it, they're just kind of comfy to read.
That feels right.
And Julie C would spend like 5 hours staring at a blank page and then just give up out of frustration.
Probably just like shoot the page or whatever.
Just, I can't do this.
Screw you.
The 5 lines she wrote on the page were just actually fantastic, but she doesn't have the patience for it.
Mm-hmm. Just boom. Yeah. Screw you, paper. Mocking me. Here's one from the internet person. So now that the new Tales tube is out, I feel like it's worth asking. What did Eggman mean by Gun being put in their place? Were they destroyed? If so, were they reformed after Forces? It would be a shame for them to be disbanded forever off screen.
That's to be revealed, I guess. Point is, everyone was asking, where was Gun during the Eggman War? And the answer is he beat them.
Mm-hmm.
To what degree? We don't know. But at least we have some answer now.
Alrighty then. Here's one from Saturn Flicky. The solicitation for the 2022 Sonic Annual got me thinking. We're used to seeing Sonic and Tails and Mighty and Ray as partners. But what if we saw Sonic and Ray, Mighty and Tails, Sonic and Mighty, or Tails and Ray team-ups? How would you make their dynamics interesting?
I think it would be fun to explore what is it about these duos that are very similar and how are they different. Because in my mind, there's already kind of a parallel between Sonic and Tails and Mighty and Ray.
There is, yeah.
So what is it about the Sonic and Tails pairing that works and isn't just quite simpatico with Sonic and Ray? I feel like Ray is very upbeat and encouraging, but he's also a little bit of a follower, whereas Tails has gotten to the point where he's at least got Sonic's ear when it comes to decision making.
Yeah.
So I could see Sonic going, let's jump off this cliff, and Tails would go, or maybe circumvent over that way and go down. It'd still be just as fast and fun. Whereas Ray would go, oh, okay, here we go. Whereas Mighty is, just as gung-ho about adventure, but I don't take him as quite as thrill-seeking as Sonic. He would be more inclined to take that other route, so Tails is kind of bored. I mean, when the action happens, sure, they work well together, but it's like, can we jump off a cliff, maybe? Can I tell you not to jump off a cliff for old time's sake? Could you make one bad decision, Mighty? Just do it for me.
Mm-hmm.
The other pairings, though, like, I can see Sonic and Mighty enjoying the gusto between them.
Yeah.
But there would be this kind of good-natured competitive edge.
Yep. That's how I feel about it.
That would not serve to be constructive.
Yeah.
Like, sure, they're getting stuff done, but they're also kind of trying to one-up one another as things go on. Maybe get a little distracted by that. And since we're talking, like, classic era, because that's where Mighty and Ray are right now, Tails isn't much of a leader, at least in terms of classic material. He's still kind of a follower. He still needs someone to show him the way, someone to bounce off of. And Ray is likewise a very supportive side character. So between the two of them, they have no initiative. It's like, okay, what do you want to do? Well, whatever you want to do. Well, I don't know what to do. What do you think? I don't know. What do you think we should do? It's not like that it would be completely inept, but there would be this degree of them kind of chasing each other around. Well, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? And then once something, happened that they could react to, they'd be fine. But they need that push. They need someone to give them the idea, whether it's a good idea or a bad idea. They just need someone to kind of go, we're doing this now. And they go, okay. And they bounce off of that.
Tails and Ray would be like kind of wholesome, I think. Just be like adorable. But also, definitely not immediately effective until finally, something happened and they could step up. But
That and they would be completely broken gameplay-wise, because Tail could get you the height, Ray would get you the distance.
Yep.
You mess up the glide or you start to descend, Tails get you the height again. You just cruise over the stages.
A Sonic Heroes team of Tails, Ray, and Kit. That would again be broken. Very broken. Who's the strength in that group? Yes. Yeah. Here's one from Alex GS. We know that Silver can beat Sonic in a regular battle, but who would win in a battle between Super Silver and Super Sonic? Would being in super form allow Sonic to resist Silver's telekinesis, even if Silver is also super?
I'm inclined to say Super Sonic, just because as much power as Silver wields normally, and how much more power he would wield as Super Silver, that power is still reliant on his ability to perceive. He has to see his target coming for him to react to it. And Super Sonic is pretty darn fast. So I'm thinking, all things being equal, Super Sonic would be able to move fast enough that Super Silver couldn't react in time, and he'd get a whooping.
It's no you. Punch in the face.
I mean, arguably the same goes for regular Sonic and regular Silver, but I don't know. We've seen two, well, maybe three. But I mean, okay, you have the fight in Soliana where Silver just freaking destroys Sonic. But then you have the fight in Generations where Sonic is able to get around that. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be an easy fight, to be sure.
Well, here's the thing. More than anything, Super Sonic would have the benefit of plot armor. So, yeah. Can't have your main character get too beat. Here's a question from Alphamon Oryukin. How would Omega react to his Moebius counterpart, the Omega Care Unit?
Shock, disdain, disgust.
Destroy, must kill, murder.
I mean, not only is a robot that has non-lethal weaponry, gasp, shock, but one that's devoted to protecting Dr. Kintobor?
Mm-hmm.
No!
Mm-hmm. What is even the thing with it? What is even the thing? What is even? Why? Why does it exist?
It is even a passive shade of blue. Why?
That is, hang on. Oh, it's a mech suit. It's not even sentient, apparently.
Yep.
Yeah, weird. Oh well. Here's a question from Andrew D. To follow up on the question of whether wisps have names, it was actually stated on a card-like image shown on the IDW Sonic Facebook page that Whisper's wisps do indeed have names, or at least designations of some kind. Blue Block, Cyan Laser, Green Hover, Orange Rocket, and Pink Spike. Then in issue 46, we got a name, or designation of some kind, for Ash's Red Wisp, Red Hot. The power granted by Red Wisps seems to be called Red Burst, however. Are these all names for these wisps specifically? Are the names for Whisper's wisps more like code names from their Diamond Cutter days, or something else?
Pretty sure we covered it last time that the wisps that the Diamond Cutters use, those are just their distinctions. That's not a name. It's, perhaps the official SEGA presented canon name is Pink Wisp, but it is the Spike Wisp. That's not a name. That's not a code name. That's just what it is. It is the Pink Spike Wisp. It is the Pink Wisp with spikes that gives you the spike power.
Yeah. I know one of the questions about this was that Mimic calls his wisp blue at one point. It's like,
well, yeah, but that's
just
kind of more, it's blue.
Yeah.
He could call it block. He could call it wisp. Those are all accurate adjectives for the thing.
Yeah.
Now, Ash's burst or red wisp, whichever one you want to call it, does have the name.
Yeah.
Because he named it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the distinction.
Like I said, you don't want to get too attached.
You don't want to get too attached. You might get burned.
Oh boy. Here's a question from And Tails. We've seen Sonic confront his fear of water throughout the various continuities, such as the Cruise Blues episode of Sonic X, and he's able to run in and over the water for short periods of time in the games. But what did it take for the Blue Hedgehog to truly tackle his fear of water and actually learn how to swim? Would some taunting from Knuckles or Shadow do the trick?
See, here's the thing, is the note I always get is that Sonic is not afraid of water. It's just that he can't swim. But all other media seems to be in the contrary to that, so I don't know.
Why can't he swim? Like, what is the purpose? What is the reason of why he can't swim if he's not afraid of water?
Like, I don't know. I do like the fact that he has a decided and clear weakness.
Yeah.
You know? But it's how his characterization is built around that seems to be in flux.
And it seems to be in question, even though literally every other piece of media displays him as being afraid of water. As recently as the second movie.
And then you have Colors where he could swim. Granted, it was, perpetually spin jumping, but being able to propel yourself through the water by will is pretty much swimming. So
that's like the Mega Man X style of swimming. Just jumping really high. Makes you jump really high underwater. Like, okay.
It's like he doesn't know how to swim, so he'll try jumping. That's a good trick. And there you go. It works.
And it works,
now, if that were consistent between other games, number one, I would love it. Because, God, that was fun. But two, I don't know. I don't know how to tackle that question. I don't think Sonic could be pressured into it, though. I think it has to be his own decision.
Yeah. Sonic's too cool for peer pressure. Here's one from Arcfighter. Theoretically, what type of heroes do you think the younger cast would be when they're the same age as Sonic is now? Tails, Cream, Charmy, Marine, etc.
They're heroes already?
Yeah. I mean, I guess maybe like they're thinking with as far as like maturity, what would they mature into? But I mean,
I honestly don't see them changing that much outside of gaining more independence and personal autonomy. Like right now, most of the younger characters need to have one of the older characters around as mentors or protectors or just general backup.
Yeah, or talking about like getting out of the sidekick role for most of them.
But otherwise, they're still the same gregarious, friendly, team-oriented group that they've always been. I don't really see that changing.
Right.
I could maybe see Tails pulling a Gohan and pursuing more academic studies, and then when something happens, trots out all the skills that he learned in his youth and kicking all sorts of butt.
Mm-hmm.
Not pulling a Gohan and losing those skills and being incredibly frustrating. You had a mystic form, Gohan! But like Marine's already proven to be an incredibly capable engineer, so maybe she starts building more impressive seafaring gear. Cream is already able to spin dash and spin jump and fly and whatnot, so she becomes another adventurer. Maybe Cheese goes through another evolution. She gets a light chow to follow her around now. Overall, I just kind of see them being bigger versions of what they are now.
Maybe Charmy finally learned to redirect his boundless energy into more practical things. Instead of just going crazy all the time and buzz all the time. We got a question here from Ava Arctic. Was the reason for pruning / removing / killing off some side characters a request from the editor, or just a way to clean up the bloat, or a mix of both? P.S. I'm so glad Tommy got Thanos. Also, for clarification, they were talking about very early on in Ian's Archie run. Which, I mean, some people still say, like, you kill you kill people. You kill characters. That's all you do. It's like, well, he hasn't done that in like a decade and a half, but sure. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
It was a mix of both. There was a kind of a general editorial directive to simplify and streamline things. And there were a few characters on Mike's hit list. I do remember him saying, just get rid of M. I'm like, but we could explore some neat ideas. He's like, no, get rid of her. It's like, all right, but I'm going to make it sad if I can. And others were, I saw no particular reason to keep them around. And if the direction was, clean house, then let's clean house. Like the Weasel Gang of knockoffs, if you will.
Terrible.
It's like, they sure, Jay Axer did neat designs for him, but that's freaking Jay Axer. They didn't have any character to them. So why? We didn't need them. And the fandom is collectively one that will hold on to every bit of minutia. And I'm just as guilty of that. So this was good for all of us, folks. And other stuff like the Sir Connery and all the various dark magic users who appeared once and did nothing afterwards. You've got so many magical things flying around when the Chaos Emeralds are supposed to be the central thing. So some of it hurt, and some of it was like, oh, can I really do this? Am I allowed to do this? Because I was very young and inexperienced. Mm-hmm. So, and I don't know. So, yeah, long answer short, it was a mix of both. It was some editorial direction, and some of it was pointed direction.
Yeah. Kill them all. Great album. Anyway.
I think, if I remember this correctly, the Darkest Storm arc resolved like 32 lingering plot points. Or something like that.
Yeah.
It's an incredibly dense read. It is not new reader friendly. I have to go back and read it again. It may not even be a good read, to be honest.
I mean, yeah. Why do you need to plan anything when you can just leave plot points to maybe pick up at some point in a decade at random?
I remember now. It was Birthday Bash was supposed to be a pretty clean slate.
Uh-huh.
Kind of establish what the new creative team was doing, and the Darkest Storm was which is what I pitched first, was used as just the big clean house arc.
Mm-hmm.
And we did more tidying after that, but that was like the dedicated wrap up as much as possible to start the new direction.
Yeah.
Good glory, that was a mess.
No more
entertaining. I hope it was entertaining.
No more knacking off around here. Stop that knacking. We got a question from Dapper Shinks. It's going to take us into our break. Happy Pride! Ian and Kyle, what do you think the Sonic franchise offers for kids and people of all ages who feel in some way unwelcome or misunderstood in their day-to-day lives?
Now, first, happy Pride to you and all that listening.
Of course.
I think in general, Sonic's as a franchise has a big theme of acceptance.
Yes.
Of other people and who you are. I mean, Tails himself, number 2 in the list of Sonic characters.
Yep. Well, number 3 if you want to count Eggman.
Nah, Eggman's a jerk. We don't count him.
Okay. Well, I mean, okay. Second in hero, as far as heroes are concerned.
Yeah. He's all about accepting his differences, and it's not, painless because he was mocked for his tails and he was self-conscious about them, and now he's, best buds with Sonic, the coolest person in the entire world.
Yes, and he's a literal genius as well.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's like every character that Sonic comes across who has something different about them, he's just like, okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
You're here and I'm cool with that. Let's go get a chili dog. Let's just go have an adventure. And whenever there's somebody who's trying to force conformity or their vision of the world on others, he's like, no, stop it.
Yeah, pretty much. Like,
and
age, gender, and appearance don't really seem to matter. They're never really a factor for a character to be a great character, to be awesome, to be someone you can, relate to or just think is really cool. Yeah, I like that a lot. I know Sonic himself, especially now, like I'm noticing with IDW, he seems to have like this cool older brother feel. Like he's a supportive guy. He's always like, I'm kind of surprised like how empathetic that he's been written in IDW. He's very like, he's very understanding with like Whisper and stuff. He's like, trying to like say, to Tangle, who, gets maybe a little too overly excited. It's like, maybe step back, leave her alone for a little bit, Yeah. And it's like, yeah, it's just it's a very wholesome take on Sonic. Like, back during his initial creation and, through the 90s and stuff, he was kind of an abrasive character. He's a little bit of a jerk a bit because, that 90s dude, he's softened up quite a bit now. And it makes me appreciate his character a little bit more, I think. Maybe it's just because I'm older now and I just don't have the patience for anybody being an absolute jerk. So, but I don't know. It just seems like that's more in line with Sonic. I like that type of Sonic better. He's friends with everyone, and he'll like, even if he just met you, he'll like pretty much put his life on the line to defend you. It's pretty crazy, actually. He's a crazy person, but that's what makes him such a good hero, I think.
And he hasn't lost his edge.
No.
He still has the snark. He still has the sass.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But it's tempered with what defines a cool character has changed radically from the 90s to now.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
And the way that he's rolled with that in various media, I think, has brought us to this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, the great thing about Sonic is that it's just like, franchise as a whole is generally approachable for pretty much any age.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also not afraid to go into some darker themes without talking down to the audience and making them feel like they're dumb or anything like that. So going into some like stories that are a lot more maybe difficult or relatable, like the horror of Metal Virus is something that you would be like, this isn't a kid's book? It's like, yeah, it is. And kids can handle that kind of stuff. So, and then, of course, the big thing is that most of the characters are funny talking animals, so even overly strict parents are like, yeah, that's all right. Yeah, you can just kind of... most strictest parents even like look the other way because they're like, it's just a silly talking blue animal guy, whatever, it's fine. Meanwhile, the kids are like, hee. It's like this, it's their little secret, it's their thing, they don't have to share it if they don't want to. It's their thing. I think that's something that kind of helps out, I think. So just gotta keep it a secret, Don't tell anyone. Anything else you want to add to this one, Ian?
No, I think we sufficiently covered it.
Alrighty then. Well, let's go ahead and take a quick break and then jump right on back into it with more BumbleKast. We're back, and we're going to go ahead and jump right on into this question here from Cutlass206. Hello, Ivan Finn and Lyle Crows. After 3 months catching up on all the Spotify episodes, I have found that no one has asked the most important question. How many Chow would it take to defeat the IDW villains, Starling, Surge, and Kit, Rough and Tumble, and Clutch? Happy splashing! 3 months, huh? Dang. That's dedication. Like, how many a day did you listen to? I'm kind of wondering now.
I hope you enjoyed yourself the entire time.
I hope so too, but I don't know. Maybe not. I mean, you're giving us money to answer a question for you, so maybe you liked it.
You could also check the Q&A master list, but you know what? It's your time. You spend it how you want.
Was this on here? I don't know. I don't know if this has ever been asked before. Anyway, how many Chow would it take?
Starline, 1. He's not going to take the threat seriously. He would see cheese and go, oh, it's a Chow. I don't care. Pop right in the head. He'd be down.
But this is Ian. How could you do this? How could you do this to Starling? He's like your self-insert character who is perfect and can do no wrong and would be amazing and perfect.
Okay, that's an interesting interpretation.
It's one I've seen.
Never mind all of his glaring flaws and near-death misses, but whatever.
Well, whatever. He's your self-insert now. He's your Jeffrey St. John, I guess.
Okay. Okay.
Anyway.
Surgeon Kit, I don't think you could beat him with Chow. Like,
Ooh.
Surge would not be opposed to stomping a Chow.
Oh yeah, no, she kicks it. She kicks Chow for fun.
Yeah, and the minute one gets a good hit on her, Kit's gonna go beast mode, and that's all she wrote. So you can't get them out. Rough and Tumble individually could probably be kind of in the same tier as Starline if they don't take it seriously. One solid Gouda crusher from cheese and they're down. But if they're together, if they're they're going to fight a bunch of toddlers, which they totally would, you need a solid garden's worth to bring him down. But they're not really that great in terms of fighting. It's more that they're just mean.
Yeah.
So they'd be whittled down eventually. It'd be a battle of attrition.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Clutch had cages full of Chow. He can't be beaten by Chow. He's like the anti-Chow. He is the thing that Chow speak of in hushed whispers. He is the nightmare to Chow. Yeah, no. He wouldn't be able to beat Chow. Or rather, Chow would not be able to beat him. And Mimic, I don't even want to talk about that. That's just, that's grim. I don't want to say what he does. Ugh.
No! Whoa, okay. Could Kit control Chow being water-based?
No, I don't consider Chow like actual water beings.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they certainly are themed around water and Chaos being mutant Chow is water based, but Chaos is a special thing. I don't think they're water.
Maybe that's something to ask SEGA about.
Yeah, maybe.
Bring. Hello, SEGA? Is that water? Chow water.
Is Chaos Cola just a Chow put through a juicer?
No! Oh man, this got even worse. The human body is 70% Chow.
Take a big swig of a Chaos Cola and go, that one hugged a vulture.
No. Let's move on from this horrifying and horrible question.
Yes,
and
please.
Go on into the next one from Off. Oh, no. Metal Virus, Shadow. Rouge told him to run, which he misunderstood to mean run away. We already knew that. My question is, if Shadow travels at high speed via the rockets in his shoes, could he have even run off the Metal Virus? How would that have worked?
The nature of how Shadow and his shoes interact is not very clear, but presumably he has to exert some amount of force to get them to go, and any amount of force that allows him to travel at Sonic-styled speeds has to be exertive. So I imagine it would be comparable to Sonic sprinting.
Alrighty then. He's just dumb. But we knew that already. Here's a question from Batman69, lol. What caused Rosie the Rascal to have such a hatred for Scourge? Also, before she used the Ring of Acorn, or whatever the anti-equivalent was there any good in her, since her MO would have been to take out Scourge's reign? Or was she doing this purely for selfish reasons?
Her hatred for Scourge was as natural as Amy's adoration for Sonic.
Yeah.
Like, why is Amy gaga for Sonic? Same reason why Rosie was just loathsome of Scourge. She just didn't like him. Didn't like his looks, didn't like his attitude, didn't like what he did, just hated him. Obsessed over him. It wasn't healthy.
And, being in love and absolutely just loathing someone, there's very little difference. Do you have more to that?
We're going to let you own that one and move on.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Was there any good in her? That's what I'm getting at. There's more to this question, Ian.
No, she was the anti-Amy. They're all awful people, except for the good ones.
Well, the good ones are bad and the bad ones were good.
Exactly.
Okay. Here's a question from Chaos Sonic 1. What would Amy's favorite anime be? Personally, I say Inuyasha, since it's a time-traveling love story, since time stones are for Amy's area, and she would like to see Kagome's journey from ordinary girl to badass priestess, and the romance between Inuyasha and Kagome. I don't know if I'm saying Kagome correctly. I apologize.
But that's what I think it's...
That seems that would be what I'd assume it is. But anyway.
I am having serious deja vu. I could have sworn we answered this one recently, but I checked the Q&A master list and it's not there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's creeping me out because I remember answering this. I remember the episode. We've done this one, Kyle, but
we've answered a few questions about their various characters' favorite anime, so I don't know.
Yeah, but no, I remember it was from Chaos Sonic 1 because I remember him making the Inuyasha comparison, and I remember saying, yeah, no, that makes perfect sense to me. And you're like, yeah, me too, I guess. But we haven't done this yet.
I guess not.
This glitch in the glitch in the Matrix thing is freaking me out, dude.
I think maybe you're having your own Bernstein Bears moment here. Is Bernstein now, or is it Berenstain?
Oh, God.
Pro tip, it's always been Berenstain.
I'm going to wake up tomorrow and everyone will be saying, yeah, it was always Hydrocity. What are you talking about?
No! Sonic Twitter woke up today and chose violence.
Last time I saw the poll, though, the virtuous, godly, good people of the world were united, at least by 50%, 50.3% to say Hydro City.
Of course, that poll is, getting toyed with. There's no way there. There's no way that's legit.
Well, no, because if it was legit, it would be 100% Hydro City.
Exactly. Just Hydrokitty. Hydrokitty. There we go. That's what it is. Something like that. Hydro-kitty. Anyway, maybe Amy would just be a huge fan of Berserk. Why not? All right, here's a question from Dev. Where did Dr. Starling get the Chaos Emeralds? Where are they in the IDW continuity between uses?
He used the Warp Topaz to hunt them down and basically wall hack reality to just cheese grabbing them all up. As for where they go, that is wherever they go between games, which is inconsistent. Like, they either exist within nature or they go to the special stage, and I've been told special stage isn't canon. I don't know. That needs to be figured out. But they're Chaos Emeralds, so maybe they just kind of go wherever.
They are chaos. It's literally right in their name.
Yeah.
So they can do whatever they want. You can't control the Chaos Emeralds. You're not their dad.
Man, Sonic goes around and finds like 4 of them out in the wild and is like, where are the other 3? And they're just like floating in a special stage and he doesn't think to look.
Meanwhile, Starline's just ripping portals open. Get blue spheres. Ha, no.
No, I don't think I will.
Yeah, no. Here's a question from Dreamboatin. Why did you leave Knuckles standing in a storm like that, Ian? At least give him an umbrella. He deserves it.
I would, but he'd refuse it because he's too tough. He doesn't need protection from the elements. What, you think rain's gonna beat him? Pff, it's just water. He drinks that all the time.
Of course. That's totally how that works. Umbrellas are no place for a mighty warrior, yes. It's just chow juice. Here's a question from Exadel. If given the opportunity to cross Sonic over with one of the big three PS2 action platformers, what would it be? Sly Cooper, Jak and Daxter, or Ratchet and Clank? Also pretty sure we've answered this one before, but I don't think it was from Exadel, so oh well.
And if it's like more than a year ago, might as well do it again.
Sure.
The thing is, I never played Sly Cooper or Ratchet and Clank, so I don't have a good feel for those series to say. But I imagine Sly Cooper, from what little I've seen, is kind of just Anthros in a semi-modern setting.
Yeah.
Which would translate to Sonic no problem. Jak and Daxter, I would only go so far as the first game. It's been how many years? I'm still salty over the tonal shift from 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I picked up the trilogy for cheap back in the day and was so charmed by the first one, and then the second one was like, here's Dark Jak, and you got guns, and you hijack cars in a big dystopian city. It's like, no, why?
Thanks, Grand Theft Auto.
Go back. It's like, nope, we're committed to the bit. It's like, oh, well.
Mm-hmm.
But, I don't know. Have you played them? Do you know anything better than I?
No, except a little bit of Ratchet and Clank. I think they would fit in pretty well with Ratchet and Clank, personally. There's, that sort of sci-fi vibe with the robots and, they're anthro characters. I mean, honestly, like, freaking Ratchet looks like a Sonic character almost. You could
more or less.
You could easily transplant them. It's like, I don't know. I think all of these would be good options, honestly, though, just based on what I know of them and what I've seen. It's like, they'd all just kind of work. I think probably because all three of them have probably some inspiration from Sonic at some level. But, yeah, I don't know. Ratchet and Clank would be fun to have a crossover with, I think. And we got a question here from Finest Cacophony. It's movie night at Rouge's house. Shadow and Omega are invited. The movies they're binging are the Terminator franchise, from the good to the best to whatever came after 2.
Yeah.
Shadow and Rouge enjoyed them, but Omega? Oh, Omega was inspired. So inspired, he threatened, Tails to make a portal to the Terminator future. Crazy part? It works! Omega steps through, and he's in the post-Judgment Day world. Chaos, carnage, an ungodly amount of robots to destroy. How do you boys think this will go down? What chance does our E-Series Ultimate have?
Well, see, Omega's whole gripe is being passed over by Eggman. He doesn't want to destroy all robots, it's just Eggman robots. So what you first have to do is convince him that Skynet was an Eggman creation.
Oh, of course.
And that the entire T line are Eggbots to some degree. And then he'll go buck wild.
He might, just assume that just by watching it. I don't know if you'd have to convince him. I think he might just assume that. Plus,
why are you assuming they're Eggbots? Who else would build killer robots to conquer the world?
Plus, it looks like fun,
Nah, sure.
Yeah.
But given how slow and methodical most of the T's I've seen, not that I'm a hardcore expert on the Terminator mythology, but they seem to be very slow and deliberate, and Omega is not slow. He may not be Sonic fast, but he is a whirling dervish of destruction, so he'd be tearing through them pretty hard.
Honestly, I think Skynet's screwed. unless Skynet can figure out a way to hack Omega. But they don't really do that. They don't really do that. No. Wait a minute. Did they kind of do that in hack electronics in Terminator 3? I guess maybe. I don't remember. I'm trying to remember that.
But then Omega would be fine.
T3
Omega would be the
T3 did it. Okay.
Omega would be the savior of that future. The problem is Skynet would send a Terminator after Tails for sending Omega to begin with.
That's a good point. Wow. Skynet can even see across dimensions into the past. Dang. It's amazing. Then Sonic gets involved, and now we're just doing a Terminator Sonic crossover. Which, you know what? To be honest, I'm down. Let's do it.
Arnold comes up to Shadow. I need your gloves, your shoes, and your motorcycle.
It would be Metal Sonic sinking into the lava at the end again with doing a thumbs up. That's it right there. Bam.
I know now why I'm not allowed to cry.
Wow. Incredible. This is great.
What is the dog's name? Mutsky. What's the matter with Woofy?
This is incredible. I'm glad the T800 understands Sega's mandates.
Yeah, Uncle Chuck is dead. We have to move on.
Man, it has been so long since I've watched Terminator 2, and I've never even seen the first one. So I really need to sit down and go through those. So, I don't know. T2 is amazing though. So,
T1000's got vanilla impaled on the shoulder. Call to cream.
No. What happened to Froggy? Big comes through the portal, and he's like, "Froggy, where are you?"
No, the Cyberdyne building's been shot all up. All the commandos walk in. Big's lying there trying to hold on. He drops Froggy onto the detonator.
Oh, this is terrible.
That implies that Big created Skynet. I'll run with it. Sure, why not?
Hidden character depth. Turns out he was the real super genius all along. Good old
you thought I fished all day? No, that's how I relax.
Good old Frognet. Yeah, this is great. I want this. All right. Here's a question from Godzilla. With the confirmation of Mii files to Sonic Speed Battle, we now can have Mephiles fight Infinite, the long-awaited battle of The Edge. Who comes out on top? The answer is Tikal with her ball of lightning blinding attack.
If we're talking like a real fight between Mephiles and Infinite, on paper, Mephiles should win. He can create shadow copies. He can travel through time at will. He should be able to punk Infinite at any point.
Yeah.
But as Sonic 06 established, he's an idiot.
Well,
like, he goes through all the trouble of tricking Silver and manipulating all these various factions, and when that completely and utterly fails, he just shanks Sonic, as he should have done from the freaking get-go. So,
but then we'd have no game.
No, and really, would that have been such a bad thing?
Good point.
Infinite, for all his faults, was proactive.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he summons up turrets, he summons up minions. He doesn't hold back. He takes out armies. Like, sure, he gets stomped by Sonic and the other characters because he's a boss. It's his job to, job. But in terms of the narrative, he was pretty effective, where Mephiles was mostly there to go and not actually do anything. So I'm actually going to give this one to Infinite. I don't know how he would find the ability to kill a unkillable smoke goo god, but maybe he'd be able to trap Mephiles in some kind of virtual reality where he thinks he's time traveling to the same point over and over again and just can never get out. I don't know, but I'm inclined to give this one to Infinite.
Yeah, Memphis, Tennessee. Yeah, whatever. Screw that guy. We got a question here from Happy Times. I'm assuming by now you've seen the new short that's set in the movie's universe, Sonic Drone Home. Just for fun, what do you think about the idea that the unit robot later gets upgraded to be that universe's Omega? He's an Eggman's robot that's changed sides. He knows how to arm himself well enough to take on Team Sonic, and even though he likes poems, the poems he makes are about weapons falling from heaven and crushing all opposition.
I've seen that going around, and that makes enough sense on the surface, but the question would be, who would build the robot shell? Like, Movie Tales doesn't seem the type to build a aggressive war machine exoskeleton to create Omega. He seems like the one who would do his utmost to ensure that unit didn't get more armament. I mean, maybe there's a plot explanation for it, like they need some kind of mechanized help, or Tails is bringing it along for whatever reason, drops him, and he takes over an empty shell and becomes Omega. We could go that way.
Maybe they'll find the shell of it in a gun facility or something.
Maybe.
And he just kind of
it's
sneaks into it.
The only reason why I hesitate is because it's the movie universe. Not everything has to be one-to-one.
Right.
We don't need all of the characters coming back. And as much as I adore Omega, he's not really high priority in terms of adaptations. Like, if we got an Omega before we got an Amy,
that would suck.
That the universe would tilt from the injustice. So I'm not opposed to the idea. I feel like it's almost like putting on blinders. What else could Unit do? Where else could Unit go that isn't just retreading old ground or ticking off the boxes for characters?
Right.
Now, if Sonic 3 rolls around and here's movie Omega via Unit, I'm not going to be disappointed. Haha, cool, they did that reference, he's there. But I don't know, it's like, why do we have to zero in on just that? What other options are there? This is a new interpretation of Sonic. Where else can they go with it? I personally miss the stoplight lasers. Those were fun. That was neat. I want to see more of that.
Yeah, that would be cool. Maybe Unit is just a new Tails pup.
Bark, bark.
Yep, pretty much.
Please install a jaw so I may bite people. Bark.
And we got a question here from Jams. What are some of your favorite pieces of obscure media? Any games, comics, cartoons, movies, or shows you wish more people knew about? There's a lot, of course.
I feel like most of my interests are fairly mainstream.
I mean, yeah, I kind of had that too, but I did come up with a little bit of a list.
Then by all means,
of things that I was like, yeah, that might be cool. It's like, some of the smaller indie games, like, I've mentioned before that arcade racing games are kind of dead, and they pretty much are, aside from like Forza Horizon. But not in the indie space. There's still some good indie racing games out there, and some of my recent favorites have been Hotshot Racing, the Fast Racing series that's been on Nintendo consoles. The first one was on the Wii, and then they had Fast Racing Neo on the Wii U, and then Fast RMX on the Switch. And if you're in the mood for F-Zero type racing, then it's definitely a game to check out. Same with Redout, actually, which is another futuristic style racing game with roller coaster-esque tracks and stuff. So very fun, very cool games. Another arcade racing game that I really enjoyed was Skydrift, which is a airplane racing game, arcade. So you got that 3-dimensional movement aspect of it that makes it a little bit different from your average ground-based racing game. Outside of that, I mean, I played a really cute Game Boy-esque game quite a while ago on BumbleKast Gaming when we still did streaming, and called Squidlet, and it was delightful. It's a very short game. I recommend you check it out because it is super cute, and it's green and pixely, and it's got chiptune music, and it's just really adorable. It's just you're just going around as a blobby squid doing blobby squid stuff. It's a fun little platformer. Super Cloud Built. It's actually a really cool, like a parkour runner style game where like I could see Sonic playing in the way that Cloud Build does, where it's like very, very much based on momentum and speed and just keeping your speed up. But it's also very unforgiving, so that might be something that would keep people it's a tough game, so it would be less approachable than the average Sonic game. But I think that there's definitely some mechanics there I think that would work really well with Sonic. And overall, it's just a really fun, cool game. Great style, fantastic music. Freedom Planet, of course. I feel like Freedom Planet is maybe not as obscure, but it's still really good. If you're into Sonic and you're looking for maybe something with a little bit more story to it, Freedom Planet's worth checking out. Absolutely beautiful game with amazing soundtrack and really cool mechanics and characters that help set it apart from other similar platformers. Going back a few years, you got, of course, Blast Corps, one of my favorite games for the N64. I mean, debatable on if that's actually obscure. It's by Rare during their heyday, so it's not like it's completely unknown. But I feel like it's more overlooked than it deserves to be in the pantheon of Rare N64 games. I mean, games made by Rare, not games that are Rare. It's just a fantastic game about destruction, but for a good reason. And then we got Guitaru Man for the PS2, a very weird, but also a very fun rhythm game with a really great visual style and just a very odd game, but sounds amazing and well worth playing. And then going a little bit newer, Madworld on the Wii. I feel like that was criminally overlooked. It's all in black and white, I think, might be why it got overlooked, is one of the reasons. But just a awesome Platinum developed action game. So kind of like the beginnings of their the action style that they would be known for going forward. So good stuff there. And then I got a few movies as well. I really liked Dread, the most recent one. It's a pretty dark, bleak film, but it stands out really well and surprisingly really good. It's like, you know, it's a movie that really makes use of the whole thing taking place in one building, like in one location. So it does that really well. And there's also a movie called Shoot 'Em Up. It's a action movie. Honestly, it's the best thing about it is the actual like stunts and the gunplay. Like the movie itself is kind of but the visual style and the visual effects and everything are outstanding. So, I mean, at least just checking out the gunplay sequences of that movie is at least worth it. I'm also a sucker for things like Double Dragon, the movie. It's very goofy, but honestly, it really works. I feel like Double Dragon is one of those video game movie adaptations that I feel like is unfairly maligned. It's a lot better than I think most people give it credit for. It's like a very it's kind of like a kid-friendly version of the Warriors, if that makes sense. And yeah, it's good. It's very silly, but it's good. It's fun. And I got to go with same thing with Transformers the movie. Transformers the movie is just an 80-minute long toy commercial music video, and I'm here for it. It's amazing. It sounds great. And it looks great, too. And then we got Bloodsport and Mortal Kombat, which are pretty much like the same movie. And
you're calling Mortal Kombat obscure?
Well, the first movie is kinda, I guess. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Okay, fine. Just Bloodsport then. They're the same movie, though. Bloodsport is just like this really cool display of various styles of fighting and martial arts in a tournament format that's, just entertaining to watch. And then Pacific Rim. Would you consider that obscure, Ian?
No, not at all.
Pacific Rim? No?
No.
Fine. Whatever. Got a sequel. Yes, I know it did. I never saw it. Was it any good? I don't think it was. Oh, well. Those are mine. Okay, fine. It was hard, man. Like, Pacific Rim is kind of a cult film.
Yeah, it's a cult film, but it had huge promotion.
Yeah. I mean, so did a lot of other things that I listed, but they aren't, like, remembered necessarily. Whatever.
Well, I had nothing to contribute, so I don't really have...
I don't know.
Much room to judge now, do I?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know, Morbius sweep. There you go. Hashtag Morbius sweep. That's gonna be on this list of obscure movies in a few years, probably. It's Morbin time. One last question here from Saving Throws. Knock knock. It's Izuka-san. He's walked into the Bumble studio and takes over this very recording, so you both can ask him whatever you want. What sort of questions do you think you'd come up with in such short notice? Would you be too flabbergasted on how he managed to track down the studio address? Or are you too busy wondering where the studio came from? Or how you got there? I don't think we're in Toronto anymore.
I'd wonder how he had the time, because I know he's a very busy man.
He made time, damn it. He heard we needed him. And when we needed him, he appeared.
Quickly, Kyle, turn on the Izuka-san signal.
The Izuka sign.
I don't know. You get the chance to ask the man point blank anything.
Yeah.
And
I'd just start reading questions, these questions to him. Honestly.
I don't know. I'd be spoiled for choice, and
it would be tough.
I wouldn't want to be too presumptuous.
Yeah.
I mean, he took over the show. If he's taken over the show, why do we get to ask him questions? He's probably telling us how to answer them.
Well, Starling took over the show, and he answered questions.
I suppose.
So no, I certainly hope Izuka-san is not quite as evil as Starling.
Oh, no. He's actually a really pleasant individual.
That's what I've heard.
But there will not be an Ian Flynn does impressions of Izuka-san episode. That drawing the line right there. That is asking for trouble. I don't know.
I got a question for you. Why doesn't Ian get to play with all the toys? Why do you keep things so separated, sir? Why are they all just like? Why is it like that? Yeah.
I don't know. I almost feel like I'm potentially approaching dangerous territory, so my spider sense is going off. I'm gonna delicately back away from this one.
Eject! Quick, get into the reading the Patreon names. Quick, to the Patreon reading mobile.
Yes! Let's do that. Let's read all the names of the people who make this show possible.
Yes.
Big thank you to Daniel H., Alex P., James K., John B., Jennifer R., Robotnik Holmes, Samuel P., Sam Cybercat, Mike B., Dave M., Coupling Crew 128, Do As Diz Den Off, Andrew D., Salute Your Cat, J. Frost, Scruffy Matt, Hero of Light 13, Chris A., Sony, Ryan D., John M., Noni, Jib, Don B., Yami M., Lee H.K., Lisa M., Chevelle, Fiona M., Piggy Bank, Blue Title Gamer, Invade Turbo Tunis, Ben W, Tick Tick, Sonic, Xander Oni the Painter, Final Neil, Jonathan D, Axis, Nemric, Solera Stain, Godzilla, Dadler the Dalek, Scurvy Pirate Hog, The Name is X, Chaos Universe, Sonic Legacy, Daniel B, Ava Arctic, Pedanti Cat, Dove, Red the Supernamic, Pan Dolce, Quaggle Gaggle, Chad, Professor Rye, Jennifer H, Les, Cameron H, Sapphire Scarletta, Preston M, Alphamon Oryukin, Arcfighter, Noah S, Corjiro Highwind, Sonic Ranger, Chase L, Nondal, Alex GS, Awesome Cakester, Kimiko, Radry, Callum Q, Shaggy Dog, Jack the Animator, Just a Mountain Soul, Finest Cacophony, Ty H, John the Real Waluigi, Maddie H, Jolene B, KJB and Tails, Dream Bowden, In Zephyr, Owen BD, Mox DeRusival, Knights Jubal, The Marble Gardener, T Ranger, Alex J, Four Sonic Fan, Joshua S, Megawatt, Agent Kaz, Saving Throws, Navarre, Exidel, Michael P, Ty Cyan, Lemur Chicken, Jamal S, Neon Strife, Rhythm Raccoon, Lacey M, Wild 48, Fenris Asger, Pap, Delta God 77, Dapper Shinks, Miggy Sawdust, Pig Dan 20, Jinx, Unlikely Veronica, Spiral Warrior, Phi, Angela V, Shimmy Maru, Starlight Sec, Pizza Person, Amagali, Danny the Light, Mobius, The Internet Person, Saturn Flaky, Cutlass 206, Chaos Sonic 1, Joester SSB, Madeline Blue Star 7, Master Sword 468, Speedweed, Steph Cube, The Cartoonist, Ryoko Shion, Metamode, Frost the White Lion, Agnes S, Wheels 282 Hedgehog.
Dang. Lots of names. Those wonderful people. They are beautiful. They are wonderful. They are amazing. And there are so many of them. How are there this many people, Ian? Where did they come from?
Where did they go? Where did they come from, Cotton Eye Kyle?
I don't know where they come from. That's what I'm asking you.
What, you expect me to know the answer to everything?
I mean, you're the one who gets all the questions asked. You're the one who answers them all. You get the questions asked at you.
You know, we're getting too existential. That's going to wrap us up for this episode of the BumbleKast. We will see you Wednesday for another Priority Q&A episode, and then Friday for the standard Q&A. Until then, be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and we will see you next time on the BumbleKast.
And the train wreck is over. Just kidding. It's never over. Audio editing is the biggest part of it.
Yeah.
That's what
and
takes
as long
me
as I don't drop any
time.
super bombs that need to be delicately removed, that's mostly just delays and pickups.
Honestly, it's not even that. It's removing our gross mouth sounds. Yes, all of those and more. gross mouth and breathing sounds and nose sounds. Yes. Gross face sounds. We'll go with that.
Welcome to the Breathing Cast, the new AMSR channel.
Yeah, here's the thing. We cannot... neither of us can breathe well, so... you know, we're basically gasping for air over here every week.
Welcome to the BumbleKast. I'm a fish out of water, and joining me is my hyperventilating friend, Kyle, JCRB Krause.
That's pretty much it. Thanks, Childhood Asthma, for leaving me with compromised everything for the rest of my life. Anyway. You've been listening to the BumbleKast, a co-production of Bumble King Comics and the KNGI Network. Original theme music composed by Ken Coda Snyder. Remixed intro by T-Lopes. Find out more information, along with podcast feeder links, MP3 downloads, and more at bumbleking.com and kngi.org.
Tyson C. Nope. Fenrir. What's that one? Okay. Shimmy Maru. Is that a real name? Sorry, I wasn't expecting this many new names. I just...
Yeah, and now I'm debating leaving some of this in. At least some of this in.
No, because it'll be playing 3 times. I'm going to assume that's okay. Shimmy Maru. Okay. Sorry. Starlight Sec? Okay. Really should have practiced this, apparently. Amagali. Amagali? Amagali. Okay. That was a mess. Sorry about that.
It's okay. I'll clean it up. Shouldn't be too bad. Maybe I'll have to dub myself in. No, it should be all right.